success.
How about the X factors in this game? Let's talk about those. In terms of the Patriots, who do you think the Patriots X factor will be?
Well, if the line says that the Patriots are favored by 3, and I could see this being a little bit of a shootout,
Okay.
why not Stephen Gostkowski?
Ooh.
Experienced kicker.
Good one.
I think he might be the guy who Tom Brady gets that offense in position if need be. And I could see him, I expect that he's going to kick 2 to 3 at least in this game. And I wouldn't be surprised, if he is stepping up to kick the game winner.
You know what really worries me about Gostkowski is, you know those commercials, I don't know if it's a beer commercial where he's like, is this how, Josh felt when he was fixing the printer and when he's, kicking a field goal? I feel like if you air that commercial after a miss, everyone's going to be like, no, because it's going to be like this weird jinx through the game. I know they have commercials slated throughout the Super Bowl, but I feel like that's one thing. I was thinking about that yesterday when it aired. I was like, that'd be really weird if something happened in that situation where he missed. But anyway, my X factor for the game is Josh McDaniels, the offensive coordinator for the Patriots.
Okay.
And I think it's Josh because I feel like they have 2 weeks now to prepare, and he has to figure out how to get Tom Brady and his group and his wide receiving core to score more points than the highest scoring team in the NFL right now.
See, I think that he might have the easiest job of anybody involved in this Super Bowl.
But when you have 2 weeks,
because he has Tom Brady.
But when you have 2 weeks, you start second guessing things. You start combing over all of the different mistakes.
But who's going to get the credit or the blame, right? It's not going to be Josh McDaniels. Unless Tom Brady throws him under the bus.
Which could happen.
But even then, I think Tom Brady would still get the bulk of the blame, right? Or Bill Belichick will get the bulk of the blame. Those two guys, they're not typically guys who are going to throw other guys on their staff or on their team under the bus.
No, not typically.
So I think if things go well, Tom Brady's going to get credit. He's going to be the greatest quarterback ever. If things don't go so well, they're going to blame somebody else. I just don't know if, in a lot of ways, McDaniels has the easiest job. Well, I'm not saying it is easy. I'm just saying that's going to be kind of the way it's going to be seen.
Well, think about it in terms of him being considered for other head coaching positions, too. He goes and wins another Super Bowl.
Of course.
The pressure to leave New England and go be your own man and go be a head coach, that could factor into there. Okay. So there are a couple of different things there. I'm just thinking long term, because we got a couple weeks to try and figure this out. I'm not thinking X's and O's just yet. I'm thinking more of along the lines of other storylines.
These are the way too early to pick topics here, but we're going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
So if we're going to talk about the Patriots and their X factor, we've got to talk about the Falcons and their X factor. Did you know that of all the Division I programs of any school, actually doesn't matter what division, the school that has the most representation in this Super Bowl between the Patriots and the Falcons, Rutgers.
That's right.
That football factory known as Rutgers University.
Scarlet Knights.
How
Love
about
it.
that?
Yeah.
Pandemonium in Piscataway. Mohamed Sanu, I think, might be that X factor. Julio Jones had the huge NFC Championship game, and he's going to be blanketed, I think, by this Patriots defense. I think they're going to really focus on trying to stop him. As a result, someone else is going to have some opportunities, and I think it might be Mohamed Sanu. I thought about Taylor Gabriel, and I think he could also have a big game potentially, but I'm going to go with Sanu here, who's got a little bit more experience, and I think maybe, I don't want to say trust, but we've seen where Matt Ryan has the tendency to go to him a little bit more frequently.
By the way, speaking of Taylor Gabriel, how funny is it from where he was to where he is now, and then Jamie Collins from where he was to where he is now? They literally completely crossed paths in terms of the Browns-Pats connection.
Exactly. And Johnny Manziel is involved as well.
And he's just he's all in the mix with both of them.
He shows up as a fan.
My X factor is Dan Quinn, and I think the head coach of the Falcons going to have his hands full just a little bit to try and corral this team. They're a young team. They have a lot of really fun personalities in that locker room, guys who are respectful, but who love social media, and you got to watch out for that stuff. You got to keep these guys healthy over 2 weeks and make sure that they're keeping their bodies right. You got to make sure that they handle all the pomp and circumstance, the press, and getting their stories out there. And we've seen with the Steelers team, who we know is pretty disciplined, having to go through the Facebook Live and having to go through the flu, and how all of that media coverage negatively affected them, I believe, because of all of that negative attention in this game. That'll be a big factor, and I think Dan Quinn will do a good job, but that's definitely something that factors into this in terms of an early X factor.